This next drill is going to be called a split stance, low scoop med ball toss, and it's going to be a forward toss into the wall. One thing Nick's going to do before we start is just make sure that he measures his distance to the wall. Remember, we're going to want arms extended to the point where you can touch the wall barely with the ball. That's going to make sure that the rebound that you get off the wall is just from a few inches. Nick's then going to start setting up in our split stance position. Why we're using a split stance versus the base position we started in is to essentially challenge single leg stability a little bit more. When we run, we essentially have to keep one leg stable as we have crossing patterns occur through our trunk where my opposite leg drives forward with my opposite arm. And what that's going to require me to do is use my trunk kind of like a coil to resist that tension and control it. So what Nick's going to show us is in the load position of our med ball throws, he's kept a relatively straight spine, but it's rotated into his front leg. He's not let his tripod wobble side to side, so he's kept his foot nice and stable, and that's what's helped load Nick into his glute and essentially this shock of a leg or this spring of a leg. As Nick throws us or shows us a few throws, what we're going to see is that he unloads and gets tall, and that's what's driving hip extension down through his foot. That's producing pressure into the floor, and that's what's then transmitting through the coil of his trunk and then throwing that ball hard into the wall. As Nick shows us a few more reps here, one thing we're going to then focus on is the landing position, where on every rep Nick's done so far, he's done great getting his pelvis in line with his rib cage, in line with his head, over his midfoot at the top. What we're going to see if Nick gives us a not so great rep here is he might get dragged forward and not actually fully land through hip extension. So if we tell Nick to get tall again one more time, we're going to see that that hip extension takes hold. We see our stack back at the top, and Nick's going to be feeling like he gets lots of glutes and abs. You should feel glutes as the primary thing that have loaded to create the throw, and you should feel your abs and your glutes help catch that position from your stack. Perform for the prescribed number of reps.